What's up, guys? Pypo here, bringing you a video today doing some guild action. Today I'm playing with Cat, nobody else. My guild's kind of fucking inactive right now for some reason. Recently did some threes, trying to gear up Cat for some BGs and stuff like that, but it's just going kind of slow. But at the moment, I've been trying to record recently on my computer, but some shit's just been going on with my USB ports and stuff. Not too sure what's going on there. Just installed some new drivers, and for some reason drivers fuck everything up. They just throw a spanner in the works when it comes to just the general PC. And of course my cam. I don't know what the fuck the deal is with getting a cam and then trying to fucking do anything and the cam takes over the fucking entire computer. For some reason it wants to do all the audio, all the recording, just everything. Cam wants to take over everything. Makes no sense to me, but whatever, I can't deal with it. It's just like a weird thing where I have to like unplug it and plug it in every now and then just to make sure the PC doesn't optimize for the cam. I don't know what the fuck it is. Logitech shit. I don't know. Logitech pisses me off. But what I want to talk about in this video today is TitanFall. It's a pretty big game, even though it's not out yet. Everyone seems to be talking about it. It's one of those games where the internet just takes it and for some reason you can't say a bad word about it, otherwise everyone just gets mad. Just one of those weird things. It was like Call of Duty. COD 4 back in the day was one of those FPSs where if you said anything bad about it, shit just went down. And surprisingly enough, TitanFall is being made by the same people who made COD 4, which was probably the best Call of Duty. I don't know. COD 4 was like the one that like got the franchise like famous. Like COD 1, 2 and all that, it was just too early. It was too early and there wasn't enough games and no one really talked about it. But COD 4 is when that like whole frat house boys, fucking college kids, everyone just started like buying fucking energy drinks and sitting down and playing fucking Call of Duty for days straight. That was COD 4. That's kind of what started the whole FPS genre being so big, and that's all people did. There's like these weird like 12-year-old kids screaming on mics and shit. That's COD 4 that did that, and it was for good reason. I mean, it was a fun fucking game. The maps were balanced, the guns were balanced. It's probably the best COD 4, and probably one of the best FPS shooters like there is. But then, of course, now these guys are making TitanFall. Now, what TitanFall is basically just an FPS. Kind of plays a bit like Crysis, where your character feels a bit more heavy. It's like this weird, like, heavy mechanic where you have this weird sway to your character. But at the same time, they add in, like parkour mechanics. And if you watch the trailer, or if you go check the trailer out after this, you can see basically they have like jetpacks on at the same time. While you're not in the mechs, you have nothing to do with the mechs yet. You can parkour, you can jump from wall to wall run, all that kind of stuff. And it looks fucking sick. It looks very smooth, which I like. I hate when you see a game that's like clunky and it looks bad. Pretty much the opposite of that. This game looks, even though your character looks heavy and you have like all that equipment on and shit, and it kind of sways bad when you're running, when you fucking get up and going with that jetpack, it looks fucking sick. It looks amazing. I didn't even get hyped for the game because of like the Titans and stuff. A lot of people I think are getting into it because they see the Titans and think, holy shit, I just want to be in a big fucking robot and kill people. I got the complete opposite where I was watching an actual person run around shooting people. And just the way he ran and like could do fucking basically parkour. He's like parkouring around the map with a fucking gun in his hands. It was like Mirror's Edge cross fucking GTA, just running around just destroying shit with a gun. It looks fantastic. It looks fantastic. But of course, it is called Titanfall for one reason, and that is because the Titans that are in the game. So what the Titans are just these big mech machines. They just fall from the sky. They're not a kill streak or anything like that. All they are is mid-game, you get like a fucking, it's on a timer. I think it's like 4 minutes or something like that. Every single player gets a mech. I think it's different based on the spec you choose, but each spec, it's relatively close to each other, and there's not that many different specs either, so it's not going to be too different. So basically, say 3 minutes, 4 minutes into the game, you'll get it like an acknowledgement in the game saying, here's your fucking mech, you can drop wherever you want. And then all you do is you press a button, probably fucking left trigger or some shit, who knows. And the mech just falls from the sky. Just falls from the sky, lands in front of you, and you can hop in, and then you're in a mech. It's basically like kind of like a Halo thing where you have vehicles, but they're just the mechs. And the good thing about this game is the mechs don't look overpowered. Otherwise, everyone would just be running around like killing people in the mechs. But the thing is, because everyone can have them, it's not a big deal, if that makes any sense. Like, if anyone can have a mech, then they're not overpowered. Like, it completely negates each other, which is kind of shitty, because I like the idea of kill streaks in the, like, you work towards them, if that makes sense. Like, it makes you feel good when you reach that. It's like an accomplishment when you get a kill streak. Whereas this is just everyone gets them. Everyone just gets a mech. I mean, it's good because it's balanced, but it's bad because I don't get to just pwn the shit out of people. But, you know, that's just the way I like to play first-person shooters. But at the same time, you won't have that stupid fucking Call of Duty. You're running through a fucking hallway, and some dude's got a chopper outside and an AC-130, and for some reason he's just shooting noob tubes down a hallway and getting all these kill streaks, and then he just nukes the whole fucking team. That's not going to happen in Titanfall. Another good thing about Titanfall is it's just multiplayer. Basically what this means is, for some reason, FPS genres and people who make these games feel the need to add on to each FPS. It's completely made for the multiplayer. It's completely made for the multiplayer. For some reason, they decide it needs to have a single player to be able to like sell as a fucking AAA game. It's not the case, especially for like Call of Duty. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that, yes, play it for the single player and they get on and that's all they do. They just play it for the single player and they love it. But the majority, like the major majority, probably like 90% of the people who buy this game are buying it for the fucking multiplayer. So I don't see why they feel the need to put on this shitty, like tacked on fucking Call of Duty bullshit. Like, for instance, Call of Duty Ghosts was just all fucking that dog bullshit that hardly even made any sense. Some dog jumps into a building with 5 guys who all have machine guns, and somehow the dog kills them all and then opens the door for you. That's literally a thing that happens in Call of Duty Ghosts. Makes no fucking sense to anyone, but for some reason that's the single player game in Call of Duty. It makes no sense to me, but it's just the way it goes. You won't have that shit in Titanfall. There's no single player. The only problem is, and a lot of like just the bad stuff that you've been hearing about this game is just based on the size of the maps and the teams. So basically what they've said is the team size is going to be either 12 players each side or 6 players each side. I think they want to up it up, but in the beta right now, I think it's not optimized for 12 people each side. So it's going to be 6 each side, which 6 each side isn't too bad for a small map. But when you think about it, 6v6 is not that much whatsoever. Especially when you have these Call of Duty battles going on that have like 24 each side. That's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous amount of people to be fighting. And it makes it seem like you're fucking in a war zone, you know what I mean? That's the whole point of these fucking games. It's almost like a war simulator without the actual fear or fucking horror of war, which is what every 13-year-old kid ever wanted for some reason. So basically because of that, it's gonna get a lot of like stick from people just saying they don't want such a small game, and it only has 2 maps right now. It could only have 2 maps because it's in beta. They haven't actually said anything about it, but it could just be that they want to release the maps later on. I mean, fuck it. These days with DLC and shit, I wouldn't be surprised if they release it with 2 maps and then have extra map packs like within a week for DLC. Who fucking knows? I mean, it is the guys who made COD 4, but that also means they're from like Infinity Ward, and Infinity Ward and Activision are those kind of guys that release DLC like fucking idiots and have like day 1 content on the fucking disc, but they don't release it for some reason until they like a week later and they say, oh, you pay $2 and unlock the content on this disc. I don't understand why the fuck people do that. It makes no sense, especially when you're paying for a fucking game and you're getting half the game. Makes no sense. So yeah, the only hate the game's getting is basically because of that, because of the weird low map fucking percentage. Just 2 maps is really weird. Like, that's not enough. I guess maybe like if the maps are huge and the maps like are fucking really in depth and they're fucking crazy intricate and like they're made like different passageways for people and the mechs can do all this shit. I have no idea like if that's the case. If that is the case, maybe I could like overlook it, but I'm not too sure. Like 2 maps just doesn't seem like enough to me. I mean, the game looks good. That's another reason I really like. When you go and watch this trailer, it looks like a good version of Battlefield or Crysis. Crysis is even a better way to explain that game. Crysis looks fantastic, but no one wants to play that game because it's kind of clunky and it's kind of boring. It's just it doesn't have that player base. Whereas this game has been hyped so fucking much. It's been hyped for the longest time, and I still didn't look at it until recently. And I've recently just been downloading the beta and stuff like that. And it looks very promising. I don't know. It's been a long time since I sat down and actually played an FPS. And I kind of miss that competitive like COD 4 days. Basically because now like with WoW and Arena and stuff, it's not competitive anymore for me because you either have like a really good combo and you can go high rating, or you have a shitty combo and then it's just for fun. Like, that's just the way it is. It's more about the combo and having the gear than it is about actually being a good player. Whereas with the FPSs and like Call of Duty and fucking now Titanfall maybe, it's more about actually your play style and how you play the fucking game if you're going to be any decent at it. Like, and I like the idea of that. It's not like I fucking hate that in Call of Duty it's like that whole level up system. Like, it makes no sense to me that I'm playing a game, I have a gun, the dude has the same fucking gun as me, and for some reason, because he's got like a higher level and like perks and shit, he kills me easier. Like, that makes no sense to me. It's the same fucking gun as I do. Why does this make any sense that for some reason his bullets do more damage? It's the same as being in WoW and being like geared and some other guy doesn't have gear, and you're shooting each other in the face with a bow and he's doing more damage. That doesn't make any sense to me. For WoW it makes sense because that's the whole point of the game and its progression, but in FPS, like a fucking war simulator, it shouldn't be the case at all, and I hate the perk system. Luckily for Titanfall though, it only has like 3 separate, I guess classes you could say, that you can have obviously like your stealth class, your fucking runner class, and probably your mech class, like you have stronger mechs and stuff like that. Maybe a slower cooldown on the mech cooldown. Meaning you can call a mech like every 2 minutes instead of maybe every 3 or 4. Stuff like that. And the good thing as well is the mechs don't look like they're hard to kill for a player, if that makes sense. Like in the trailer they show a scene where it's 2 mechs fighting each other. One mech is about to blow up, so the dude pulls eject, which also is a fucking fantastic feature. I'd hate to have to be stuck in a mech dying. He pulls eject and flies up into the air. While he's in the air, he can fall down, land on the other mech, rips the dude's fucking like helmet off and shoots him in the face. Like, I like the idea of like being able to destroy a mech basically by just killing the driver, because that's more realistic to me. But they also have like invulnerability frames for about 30 seconds. So if you call in a mech and then you get in it, you're invulnerable for 30 seconds. I don't know if I like that, because I can see it being like a little bit game breaking. Like if you call in a mech for some reason like super close to an enemy's base or something, especially if you're playing objectives. Like, I don't know like what objective games they have in there so far. I've only played like deathmatch and stuff like that. But if they have like objective games like domination or capture the flag, you could easily call a mech in near the flag, get in, and then you're invulnerable for 30 seconds, just wrecking house. Especially since the mechs don't actually need to shoot. They can shoot obviously and destroy stuff, but a mech running over a player will actually kill the player. So I feel like there could be some really rough business, like where mechs just call down next to a flag and you just run, get in and just run over people. Obviously it'd be fun to play, and it actually has been super fun. And I'm super interested in what they do with it, and it's almost an open beta. I think it's an open beta within like if this video is up right now, it's probably open beta already, because it's gonna be up in about a week. So definitely go check out this game. Have a look and let me know what you think about it, because I'm still like, I'm hyped for it, but I don't know if I'm just hyped because I'm really looking forward to an FPS. It might be just the thing for me. Like, I'm just looking forward to an FPS, and I just want this to be good so I can play it. But yeah, I think the release date's on the 13th for Australia. I think it's 11th for Americans. Of course, Americans did everything earlier because fuck knows, fuck Australians. I guess that's the rule of the world. Just fuck Australians. Fuck us. I don't give a shit. Like, what the fuck is that? Higher prices, late releases. Goddamn. This makes no sense. Especially when our like exchange rate is actually better than Americans. Like, if we buy stuff online, it gets downgraded. We actually have to spend less money for some reason because our dollar's a little bit stronger right now. But for some reason, games still cost $1 billion here. Makes no sense to me, but that's the end of BG, guys. So let me know if you've played the game before. Let me know what you think about it. If you're gonna play it, if you're not gonna touch it, let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you guys.
Oh no, Pypo, you're dead. Come to your senses, Pypo.